Right, Assalamualaikum, selamat pagi pada students. Okay, so today is experiment number 6. Okay, experiment what? Experiment is about saponification and acid values. Okay, so this experiment focusing on the chapter of lipids again. Right, so this one macam TSC minggu lepas, so sama juga tentang chapter lipids, right? Or fats. Okay, so we go for our experiment today. So please be ready with your manuals. Okay. All right, so laboratory number 6, saponifications, values, and acid values. Okay, so quickly go for the introduction for our experiment today. It is saponifications. Okay, so all triglyceride, which is referred to the fat, are composed of 3 fatty acids, which is linked to one of alcohol. We call it glycerol. Okay, by fatty acyl ester. Okay, why we call it ester? Because on combination between acids and glycerol, you will get the something is very delicious odor actually. Okay, bau yang harum So that's why we call it esters. Okay, so that ester or that what we call link is O oxygen COR. Okay, R can be side chains, right? So this one is referred to the types of fatty acids. Okay. The fatty acids may be saturated, which means no double bond. Okay, the tips here is say about saturated. So saturated means satu bahasa Melayu, so it means no double bond. Or unsaturated, so it means no double bonds. Okay, liquid triglyceride are oil, while the solid triglyceride or fats are called fats. Okay, so for example, liquid triglyceride adalah kita punya minyak masak. Solid dalam bentuk butter. Okay, so it means that if you see this word, saturated refer to our oil, whereas unsaturated refer to our solid triglyceride. Okay, so by heating the triglyceride or fats in aqueous potassium hydroxide or KOH, the fatty acyl ester can be cleaved off. Okay, how are we doing the cleave off? Done the process what we call hydrolysis, which is leaving behind glycerol and a potassium salts of fatty acids. Okay, the process here is what we call saponifications. In other words, soap formation. Why? Because it's formation of the potassium salts of fatty acids are in the fats of soaps. Okay, so this one lebih kepada sabun buku ataupun sabun yang kita nampak yang besar, right? So that is the example of the saponification of the bulk. Okay, because we bind all the fatty acid with the potassium. So that one key we can get the values from that, right? Alright, continue. The saponification number is used as an indicator of fatty acid chain, right? So let's say kita ada potassium. So potassium salt tu akan bergabung dengan kita punya fatty acid. So daripada fatty acid tersebut kita boleh kira berapa banyak dia punya rantaian chains in the triglyceride. Okay, kita boleh kira berapa banyak carbon. Okay, the value is very simple. A measurement of the ml of milliliter of KOH required to complete the hydrolysis of 1 gram of fatty or oils. Okay, triglyceride containing long fatty acid will have the lower saponifications. Kalau kita ada panjang ikatan fatty acid dia, dengan sebab kita akan dapat lower saponification number. Then triglyceride with the shorter fatty acids. Kalau kita punya fatty acid kita pendek, kita akan dapat nilai yang lebih tinggi. So how we doing that? We put in the formula. So saponification value equal with the 56.1. So this number is a Okay, actual ataupun tetap. Memang formula dia 56.1 tu memang nilai yang memang ada dekat situ. Cuma yang boleh diubah adalah N, normality, A, okay, B divided by W. So what is N, A, B, and W? Okay, quickly refer to the below here. A is what? A is a milliliter of HCl that we use for what? To titrate, okay, of the blank. So blank without containing of any samples, right? Whereas B, milliliter of acid hypochlorite required for titration of the samples. That's one is B, okay? So what is W? W is a weight of sample in gram. What about N? N is normality of the HCl of acid hydrochlorics. Okay, so when we get all these items A, B, W, and N, we have to put inside these formulations, and then you get the value. Please note, saponification value don't have any what? Any measurement of SI. Dia tak ada nilai. Dia bukan meter, dia bukan meter, dia bukan gram, dan dia bukan kilogram. Dia tak ada unit, alright. So the method for saponification, number one, select one of the following. Is it butter or margarine? So, okay, what's the difference between butter and margarine? The source of it. Butter refer to what? From animals. Margarine from our plants. Okay. So we place 2 grams of sample triglyceride. What's the triglyceride? Adalah between butter ataupun margarine. So pilih mana satu. So bila kita pilih antara butter tu dikenali sebagai triglyceride lepas tu. And put it inside the 250 ml of round bottom flask. And dissolve in 25 ml of 1N alcoholic potassium hydroxide. So from here you have know the weights. So this is your weight. Okay. And then where is N? N is here. 1N. So now you can put the value for weight here and N here. This one is 2. This one is 1. Okay. And then set up the reflux condenser. Okay. There are the reflux condenser that we use in our labs, okay, on each of the flasks. So why we call it each of the flasks? Because there will be 2 flasks here. Number 1 will sample for B. Another one will be no samples, will be A, right? And place on the heat mantle for 30 minutes. Okay. The hydrolysis will occur during this process. So we're using the process of hydrolysis. What's the meaning of hydrolysis? Cleavage up. Okay. So why we have to cleavage up our butter or margarine? To make sure that our potassium salt will goes inside the fatty acids, right? Or our triglyceride. Allow flask to be cool. For example, kalau nak sejukkan, at least bila kita biarkan sejuk tu, kita letak pada tapak tangan kita. So kalau rasa semacam som-som tu dah okey lah. Kita boleh masukkan 1 ml of indicator solution, which is 1% volume per volume of phenolphthalein. Okay, you must put phenolphthalein. Kalau tak, awak buat titration takkan dapat apa. Okay, so phenolphthalein is a clear in color. Okay, once you put there will be changing of color of what, right? Please check the video after this. And then you have to titrate 1 molar of acid hydrochloric. Okay, so number 5, we have to set up without any samples, or what we call control, because we need the value of A. Okay, kita perlukan nilai A ni, so kita kena buat yang blank, right? So set up again with 25 ml of 1N alcoholic potassium hydroxide. Okay, So the result calculate saponification value for the tested sample. So please bear in mind, if we say here we have a triglyceride long chain, the saponification value will be low. Tapi kalau pendek, nilai saponification dia akan jadi lebih tinggi. Right? Okay, there's question about saponification? Ada soalan? Ya?
Kalau ada beza ke kalau kita guna butter dengan margarine tu? Nanti result dia akan ada beza ke?
Ada beza. Because of the source.
Banyak ke
Sumber
beza
daripada
dia?
mana? Ya?
Banyak ke beza dia nanti?
So kita tengok lemak daripada haiwan dan lemak daripada tumbuhan. So kalau awak tengok lemak daripada tumbuhan, mostly adalah bentuk oil. Mostly unsaturated, saturated. Okay. So daripada situ awak boleh dapat nilai saponification berbeza lah. Okay. So soalan lain? Okay, faham ya macam mana kita nak masukkan dalam formula ni? Apa nilai N, W, A, B dan sebagainya, right? Okay. Okay, kalau tak ada kita sambung lagi. Alright, continue to the acid value. Okay. So what's meaning of acid value? Acid value is a measurement of an extent to which glyceride in the oil have been decomposed by lipase or other action and accelerated by heat and light. Okay. So macam mana kita nak tahu bahawa glyceride kita dah dihancurkan? Okay, sama ada kita. So all fats, they are special enzyme that we use to cut atau cleavage our glyceride, okay, ataupun fatty acid ataupun fats. So the special enzyme inside our body ataupun commercial kita gunakan lipase, right? So lipase is one example of enzyme. Okay, kalau tengok balik dalam nota enzymes, so lipase come from the word lipid. Okay. So lipase boleh menjalankan proses decompose ataupun cleavage our fatty acid ataupun kita punya glyceride. Okay, other we can use heat. Okay, hydrolysis boleh juga kita pakai kan. Another one will be light. Okay. So determination is often used as a general indication of condition and level of edibility of oils. Okay. So mostly acid value kita gunakan untuk kita check sama ada berapa tahannya kita punya lemak tu. Okay, disebabkan kenapa lemak menghasilkan banyak asid? Disebabkan kerana pertama mungkin kerana kehadiran enzymes, yang kedua mungkin disebabkan kerana heat, yang ketiga mungkin disebabkan oleh light. Sebab light can give a energy to our molecule or atom. So bila dia bergerak, contoh macam keadaan ais, cecair, gas ataupun beku. Okay, bila empat keadaan ni, bila berlaku proses pergerakan antara molecules, dia akan menyebabkan dua-dua molekul tersebut bergetar ataupun antara atom, menyebabkan dia saling menolak antara satu sama lain. So berlakulah proses ke arah beku ke arah cecair, cecair ke arah gas. Okay. So bila ada light, mesti ada heat. Okay. That's why we call it accelerated heat and light. Ni masuk ayat kat sini. Okay. So why we use a process of acid value? To generally indicate the condition of our fatty acid. Caranya kita tahu bahawa fatty acid kita ni okey ke tak. Dan edibility of oils. Okay, fat dan juga oil, right? So acid value is defined as the numbers of milligram of potassium hydroxide which is required to neutralize the acid in 1 gram of fatty materials. Okay. So dekat sini kita nak tengok sama ada potassium hydroxide digunakan untuk kita neutralkan kita punya pemutusan ikatan dalam kita punya lipid. Okay. Tapi dalam keadaan 1 gram. Okay. So the formula will be acid value. Okay. Again 56.1 ni is an actual number. Memang nilai ni ada tetap. Okay. So untuk awak rungkai, awak kena check dalam nota tentang chemistry. Right. So this one more on the formula. Okay. And then times with the T. T is what? T refer to titrate meal. Okay. And again, our alcohol. Normality of the potassium of hydroxide solutions. And last one will be W. is our weights or samples. Okay, again, acid value then don't have any units. Okay. So T is what? T is a titrate per mil. So it means you have to done the process of titration. Same as saponification. N is the normality of potassium hydroxide solutions. And last one will be W. W is a weight of samples in gram. Okay. So we go for the methods for acid value. So we need about 10 gram of old butter. Okay. And put it inside the 250 ml of Erlenmeyer flask. Jadi round bottle. This one is Erlenmeyer flask. Okay, Erlenmeyer flask bentuk segitiga tu. Okay. And dissolve in the 50 ml of neutral alcohol. Okay. Place the Erlenmeyer flask in the boiling water for 5 minutes. So please bear in mind, dalam kita punya Erlenmeyer kita ada 250 ml of neutral alcohol pun kita ada dalam tu juga. Okay. So dalam kita punya Erlenmeyer, so Erlenmeyer tu dalam kuantiti yang boleh penuhkan dalam Erlenmeyer flask tu adalah sebanyak 250 ml cecair. That's meaning of 250 ml of Erlenmeyer flask ni. Okay, Erlenmeyer flask tu boleh diisi sebanyak 250 ml. So apa yang kita isi dalam Erlenmeyer flask tu, kita isi sebanyak 50 ml saja kita punya neutral alcohol bersama dengan 10 gram of old butter. Right? And then we have to boil our Erlenmeyer flask for 5 minutes. Hydrolysis will occur during this period. So please bear in mind, okay, and very carefully, because our alcohol have the low temperature. Okay, low temperature. So maknanya kalau dalam suhu 30, 40 dia dah mula menggelegak. So that's why we using a boiling water. So mostly kita pakai dalam water bath. Okay. So and then the process of hydrolysis will happen. So we just put 5 minutes. Why? Because we put inside our alcohol. Okay. And then after that, quickly done the process. Beza antara saponification dengan acid value. So acid value awak kena biarkan sejuk sebentar. Okay. Tapi for this one, we have to put quickly 1 ml of indicator solution. So what is indicator solution? Is our phenolphthalein. Okay. So the difference between acid value, okay, and our acid value and saponification value, the changes of when you put phenolphthalein inside the samples. Apa yang berlaku antara dua ni? Okay, so please bear in mind, our phenolphthalein will change into pink, or we have to change it back into pink. Okay, so please note dekat mana acid value ataupun saponification antara dua. And then done the process of titration. So apa yang kita titrate dalam tu adalah kita punya 0.1 normality alcohol potassium hydroxide. Okay, so in acid value, there will be pink color persistent for at least 30 seconds. So that maksudnya bila kita letak phenolphthalein dalam kita punya sampel tu, kita akan dapat warna pink sekejap. Tapi tiba-tiba dia akan berubah menjadi clear. So ini maksudnya beza antara acid value and saponification. So saponification bila awak letak je phenolphthalein, dia akan terus jadi warna pink. So awak kena dapatkan warna clear. Tapi this one acid value, awak akan dapat warna pink memula, tapi dia akan clear selepas 30 saat. So awak kena dapatkan balik warna pink tu. Itu beza antara saponification and acid value process. So number 4, set up and second system using a new butter as the samples. Before this, you use 10 gram of old butter. And then set up the new one with the 10 gram also of a new butter. The result, you have to calculate and compare the acid value for the tested samples. Okay. All right, is there any question about the manuals before we go for our principle behind our experiment? Is there any question left?
Sir,
Yep.
kenapa kita guna oil dengan new butter?
Okay, we want to see whether yang kedua tu ada beza tak dari segi pemutusan ikatan dalam kita punya butter tu. Okay, so let's say kita punya butter tu old. Apa beza antara old dengan new? Okay, kalau dalam konsep ni, tips dia, kalau new, ikatan antara molekul dalam lipid ataupun butter tu masih lagi intact. So we can assume that acid value dia mestilah rendah ke tinggi? Mestilah rendah. Tapi untuk old butter, dah mula berlaku proses decompose by lipase ataupun light ataupun heat. So kita punya ikatan dalam tu akan terputus. Please bear in mind, dalam kita punya lipid ada fatty acids. So acid tu akan dilepaskan bila pemutusan ikatan berlaku dalam lipid. So kita akan dapat nilai acid value lebih tinggi pada old berbanding dengan new. Faham tak maksud saya? That's why we use old and new butter.
Oh, faham.
Boleh? Okay. So that's why bila kita tinggalkan lama kita punya butter dekat luar, dia akan ada bau macam tengik atau busuk. So busuk tu datang daripada mana? Ataupun tengik tu datang daripada, ataupun in the word English, rancidity. So datang daripada banyaknya asid yang dapat dihasilkan dalam kita punya sampel tu. Kek, for example, awak buat kuih-kuih awak buat daripada banyak dengan butter, dia akan bau macam tengik. Tengik sebab ada asid yang dikeluarkan. Faham?
Oh,
Right?
faham.
So awak sebagai food technology nanti awak check dalam kedai makanan dan sebagainya, ada tak bau asid tu? Asid tu bau tengik makanan awak tu. Kalau banyak lemak. Right? Ada question sebelum kita masuk kepada principle ataupun principle behind the experiment? Ada tak? Right, kalau tak ada, kita sambung dalam kita punya nota. Alright. Alright, so this is the notes for saponification acid value. So how you know the process behind the experiment, okay? We go for the first one, saponification value first, okay? So what is the meaning of saponification? Saponification is a hydrolysis of fat or oil under the basic condition to produce glycerol and the salts of the corresponding fatty acids, okay? In other words, saponification means soap making. Okay, so bila awak tengok dalam apa penghasilan sabun dan sebagainya, itu datang daripada proses saponification. Even though we can calculate our fatty acid inside there, okay, dengan kehadiran potassium ataupun kalium yang awak gunakan masukkan dalam kita punya rantaian. Okay. The important to know saponification value, the industrial user must know the amount of free fatty acids present, since this determines the large measurement of refining loss. Okay. So the amount of free fatty acid is estimated by determining the quantity of alkali. So kenapa alkali? Because we're using a potassium hydroxide, KOH, that must be added to neutralize the fatty acids. Okay. This is done by warming a known amount of fat with a strong aqueous caustic soda solutions, which is potassium hydroxide, or in other words, sodium hydroxide, okay, which convert the fatty acid, free fatty acid, into soap. This soap is then removed, and the amount of fatty or fats remaining is then determined by the titrating with the strong acids. Okay, the loss is estimated by the subtracting this amount from the amount of fat originally taken for the test. Okay, so saponification define the word saponification number, the number of milligram of potassium hydroxide required to neutralize the fatty acid resulting from the complete hydrolysis of 1 gram of fats. That's meaning of saponification number. It tells information about the character of the fatty acid or the fats. Okay. If we say the longer carbon chain, the less acid is liberated per gram of fat hydrolysis. It is also considered as a measure of the average molecular weights or chain length of all the fatty acid present. So kenapa kita perlu tahu tentang saponification number? Number one, we can know the information from there. We can know the longer of carbon chain. Berapa panjang kita punya fatty acid tu, dan berapa lama kita perlukan masa untuk kita hydrolyze. Okay, setiap fatty acid berbeza. Dia ada panjang dia. Kalau lebih daripada 36, masa lamalah proses kita nak putuskan dia, dan mungkin pengurangan asid tu akan dijalankan dengan lama, lambat. Okay, kalau pendek lagi cepat sebab mudah decompose. So yang kedua ni dia maksudnya consider a measurement of average molecular weights of all fatty acid present. So kita boleh kira berapa berat setiap average of molecular weight of the fats ataupun lipids tu. Okay, let's mean our saponification numbers. Okay, continue. For saponification value, the long chain fatty acid found the fats have a low saponification values due to the fatty acid have the relatively fewer number of carboxylic functional group per unit mass of the fat and therefore high molecular weights. So dekat sini maksudnya dalam kita punya fatty acid kita ada dua functional group. Satu daripada kumpulan glycerol, another one will be from fatty acid. So fatty acid ada kumpulan functional group dikenali sebagai carboxylic. So ada dua kumpulan group tu Satu daripada alkohol, glycerol, satu lagi daripada fatty acid. So fatty acid dikenali sebagai carboxylic functional group. So tujuan kita jalankan proses saponification, okay, because of the number of carboxylic function group high, tinggi, okay. So kalau kita ada long chain fatty acid, kita akan dapat nilai low saponification value tu rendah. Okay, sebab apa? Sebab sikit je kita punya carboxylic function group per unit mass tu. Okay, yang telah di capture dalam kita dengan bersama kita punya sodium ataupun potassium hydroxide. Okay. So bila pendek je kita punya, kalau kita nilai condition kita value kita rendah, maknanya kita boleh tahu bahawa kita punya fatty acid tu long chain ke ataupun double bond ataupun single bond. Okay. So bila ada single bond, double bond, proses pendidihan tu akan berbeza. Double bond lebih rendah pendidihan dia ataupun hydrolysis dia banding dengan single bond, right? So unsaturated mostly dalam kita punya sampel berunsur daripada plant. Okay. So bentuk unsaturated mostly adalah bentuk oil. Okay. Alright, we have a saponification value. The video to help you to understand the concept. So saya dah bagikan dalam nota ni. So boleh tengok dalam YouTube. Alright. So we go for the second acid value. So what is meaning of acid value? The number of milligram of potassium hydroxide necessary to neutralize the fatty acids in 1 gram of samples. Okay, so acid value, right? So kenapa kita perlukan acid value? Kita nak tengok berapa banyak potassium hydroxide yang digunakan untuk kita neutralkan 1 gram of samples. As oil fat residivity, residivity means tengik, bau yang tengik tu, bila kita gunakan butter yang atau margarine yang lama, akan rasa macam berasid dan juga berbau. What's meaning of recidify atau recidivity? Triglycerides are converted into fatty acid and glycerols, okay, causing an increase in the acid numbers. So bila rasa macam tengik dan rasa macam masam tu, maknanya kita punya bahan makanan tu yang berunsur daripada lipid tu telah berlaku proses penghasilan banyak acid because of the hydrolysis. Okay. So the high amount of free fatty acid in a sample of oil or fat indicate many of triglycerides have been hydrolyzed. Okay. Such reaction occur by the action of lipase enzyme and it is an indicator of inadequate process and storage condition. So kenapa kita perlukan acid value nilai tu? Okay. Kita tahu bahawa sumber kita punya sampel tu telah berlaku proses pertama, inadequate processing and storage condition. Okay. For example, high ambient temperature and relative humidity or tissue damage. Okay. So let's say kita nak simpan kita punya bahan makanan yang berunsurkan daripada lemak. So macam mana kita nak tahan lama? Kita kena simpan di dalam storage. Okay. Tapi storage, bila kita check balik makanan tersebut, kita punya acid value tinggi. Okay. So makna kita punya storage tu tak berlaku proses yang baik. Okay, that's meaning that's the value of kenapa kita perlukan acid value. Okay, so daripada acid value tu kita tahu bahawa keadaan makanan kita ataupun bahan-bahan yang bersifatkan lipid ataupun lemak tu okey ke tidak. Okay. Alright, acid value videos. I'm also giving to you this note inside your course content in your lab. Okay, so boleh tengok juga video ni. Alright. Alright, is there any question before we end our lab today? Lab briefing. So please bear in mind, I've already given you the link for our post question. So make sure you answer your post question here. Okay. So is there any question before we end our experiment today? Ada soalan tak?
Tak ada.
Alright. Ada tak soalan sebelum kita tamatkan kita punya briefing today?
Tak ada, sir.
Alright, kalau tak ada saya akan tunjukkan video Saponification value. Okay, so this one awak boleh tengok nanti Alright. So tengok nanti saya akan masukkan dalam channel YouTube saya tu, nanti saya akan bagi link. So awak boleh tengok Saponification value. Yang this one video dibuat oleh awak punya sini dekat Samarahan dan juga dekat Kuala Bilah. Okay. So you all boleh log out sekarang. So saya akan recordkan dua-dua video ni. Kalau siapa nak stay boleh stay dalam channel ni. Kalau siapa nak log out boleh jawab soalan dan juga jawab soalan dalam future. So, saya akan rakam dua-dua ni. Saya akan bagi juga awak dalam future nanti. YouTube. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so the first video will be Saponification, right?
At the same time, fill the burette with 0.1 normality of alcoholic potassium hydroxide until the calibration mark.
Why is the acid value of old butter is higher than the new butter? Because old butter has glyceride that have been decomposed by lipase or other reaction and accelerated by heat and light.
Clean all the instrument and our workstation used in the experiment to ensure the cleanliness. Make sure to discard all waste chemicals into the waste bin. This is because chemicals are toxic and may be corrosive.